There's a new rice variety in town. Plus, we're going to cover data on the important topic of irrigation and agriculture and so much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Beard and beardless. That's
complete opposites.
Seriously, we couldn't be face for TV, face for radio.
Yeah,
man.
Face for podcasts,
something like that. And welcome back, Matthew.
It is a joyous day. Matthew's here.
We've talked about Matthew
again.
the past couple of weeks. Our fearless leader, and we were saying that he said, "I don't know if I've been in here with Mac since February."
Been a minute.
So glad to have you back, Matthew. Although not mic'd up, just flew in from the state FFA convention, and was not even supposed to be here today, believe it or not.
Wow!
But the weather has kept him hemmed up for a day. The state FFA convention happened down in Hot Springs. Mm-hmm. Several members of our team, the PR team, were there. And of course, other departments across the third floor, whether they were judging discussion meet or operating our trade show booth or whatever that may have been.
Yeah, we always are pretty involved with that event for sure.
Yeah, what a production!
Yeah, I mean, I just saw it on social media.
Yeah,
and there's a lot going on there. I heard there was some duck calling there.
Really?
Yeah.
like is it a prelim to the Stuttgart?
No, I don't think it was
just for fun.
A qualifying event. I think it was those were calls on sale, and they're for trials.
And then you mix that with kids.
Yeah.
and you get what you might
that big
expect.
arena in there and
not cool.
Some echoes.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was some talent in there though.
Yeah, well, surely. I mean, I'll tell you this: we from time to time get comments about the volume of music at our events, and it is unmatched.
Sometimes during.
I
get text during.
Turn it down.
Yeah.
Stomp my foot,
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I've been to that. I didn't go this year, but I've been several times.
Yeah.
And it's loud and rowdy and energetic in there.
People from all around the state, all the schools and ag departments they have. That I'm sure there's a ton of people there.
Yeah. 500 plus? Is it 2,500? Oh my gosh, 2,500 plus, Matthew.
It's a lot of blue jackets.
a lot of suede or whatever.
That's right.
I was an FFA, but I never got a chance to go to the state convention.
Did you wear a jacket?
No, I never got a jacket.
I don't think you were in it.
It might have been because
I think somebody told you.
I had to go through the whole process, but it may be because I just joined my senior year. And I maybe there's a timeline, but no, I never got a jacket.
They're like, we don't have time to get this guy a jacket.
No, but like playing sports, I got a Letterman jacket. I played baseball, right? But they put a basketball on it, and they gave it to me like right before I graduated, and I was like, I'm not ever going to wear it, so I'm not going to mess with having to get this changed. So it's still in its plastic. So
really?
At my parents' house, yeah.
That's
and I just
funny.
looked at
So
it.
you literally never wore it then?
No, I never had it. I wasn't going to take it to Fayetteville and wear it, around campus. But
I know that and class rings, man, were one of those things that were like a must-have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you were in high school.
Yeah.
And probably the most useless.
It was.
Yeah.
Junk that you could own now as an adult,
I had a girlfriend at the time, and I got my class ring. Just because it was a thing. Never wore it.
Yeah.
Because she claimed it right off, Mm-hmm. So by the time I got it back, I was in college, and I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody got a little creative or entrepreneurial when I was in junior high. We had junior high class rings.
Yeah.
Really?
And I got one of those. I don't know how. But my parents, I'll give them credit. They were able to foresee the deal, and so like my Letterman jacket.
Yeah.
It was not the like wool with the leather sleeves, the expensive one. It was a cheaper version. And then when it came to class ring, they're like, if you want to pay for it, sure.
Yeah.
And I didn't, so I didn't get one, and now I don't really feel like I missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most guys the same way. It's like, this is just going on a girlfriend's necklace.
I didn't get one when I graduated college either.
I've still got mine.
Either.
And it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Your class ring.
Yeah.
I mean.
I've still got it somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, just as a keepsake. But
yeah, I still see people wear them sometimes. I mean, but not for me.
It's a little off topic, but like when I graduated and did graduation pictures, I had a beard. Think about that. You can realize that. And my mom was like, "You're shaving that off before you take these pictures." I was like, "No, I don't want to." So she made me, right? Took the pictures, came back. She was like, "You shouldn't have shaved."
man,
Mom,
all these stories.
That's brutal.
This Letterman jacket and the no FFA jacket and the beard and all that. You got to bring in pictures now.
Okay, I will.
We've got to see this.
If I can find the jacket, I'll bring it. And I'm sure she's got the graduation picture somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I told you, Mom, this is me.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, no.
It was more of a neck beard then, but
I bet it was pretty see-through.
Yeah.
But it wasn't luscious like it is now.
But I was also wearing my state championship football ring in the picture too. So
well, I wish that my high school picture was a beard. Mine was a serious mullet.
So,
that's cool.
I mean that.
Yeah.
If that was in then, I probably would have had it.
Oh man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
05.
05.
Our class motto was 05, stay alive. Yeah, how about that?
Well, that's encouraging.
That's great.
I graduated in 1999. I'll let you guess.
What?
Prince.
Yeah.
Party Like It's 99.
Yeah.
That was our class song. That was basically the theme of
I don't remember our class
the whole
song.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we had a theme when I graduated, so.
Yeah.
What color tuxedo did you wear to your senior prom?
I was straight lace. I mean,
oh yeah,
black. But I did wear the what's that tie called? The wider ascot tie.
Yeah.
Sort of. I thought that's about as risky as I got.
I was full white with the whatever my date's colored dress was. I think it was like turquoise or green, and the green tie, but white suit all the way, white shoes.
That tracks around that year, that time
for sure.
Yeah.
Coattails or anything.
We kept it
like
live back then.
Do you remember what you wore to prom? Cummerbund?
We did not have a prom.
Oh,
believe
really?
It or not. It was more of a banquet.
Oh, okay.
And
keep it classy.
Yeah. And I was in a band at the
Arkansas.
time. We performed at the banquet.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, and I wore a purple suit.
Perfect.
Purple suit
with white
sleeves are rolled up, weren't they?
They weren't.
Okay.
But, I mean, borderline.
Right.
But yeah, it was a purple suit and white bucks. I mean,
man, that's pretty clean.
It was.
You
styling.
could pull that off right now.
What are white bucks?
All right. Do you know what guys wear a lot with seersucker suits? The shoes. They're like a white lace up, kind of a. That's a white buck, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these they were not wingtips or anything.
Yeah.
They were just
usually
smooth,
see them as a white or that brown,
like a suede
material.
material.
A suede material. Yeah.
Question though, like, how did you roll up suit sleeves? Were they built made bigger back then? Because I can't roll.
We're gonna have to ask Don Johnson about that.
That's right.
Because like my buttons
That's
don't
right.
come off.
Suit sleeve, right? Like it's not stitched.
Yeah.
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 So you just roll up the.
Well, all my suit jackets and stuff are stitched, and like those buttons are just fake.
A lot of times
Yeah.
they used to not be stitched.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't.
Yeah.
Weren't really
Okay.
stitched, but you know,
Don
It's always
Johnson.
something I've seen on movies. Just like, how did you do that?
Miami Vice specifically. Yeah. They
Oh, and I had a red leather tie that was the
Leather.
the pencil
super
thin,
thin.
the
Oh,
super
yeah,
thin. I mean,
yeah.
as thin as you can
That
get.
was
It's
the
just
style.
that it was, wasn't a bolo or anything.
Yeah.
It was
Well, bolos were hot too.
They were.
Back then.
They were.
You know what a bolo is?
Yeah, oh,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I tried to when we got married. We got married in Colorado, and I tried to convince my wife
that would have been
to let me and my groomsmen wear bolo ties, and she nixed that. I mean, we already had them picked out and everything, and she was like, "Nope."
That's a no go.
Well,
Good
So we
grief,
went
man,
with thin black ties instead.
Yeah. Well.
I thought I was going to be big band something.
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were
Professional
going to do.
musician.
So yeah. Well,
Did you have a sweet car?
I had a Fiero.
Oh, very sweet car. How
Yeah.
did you fit your gear in there?
I was the gear.
Oh, okay.
I was the front man. So
Oh, you sang.
I sang.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Is there video of that? Not that we have to put it on this podcast.
There might be
Okay.
somewhere.
All right.
The name of our band was Johnny Cat,
Johnny Cat.
after the kitty litter.
They were.
We just thought it sounded
humorous
cool.
group.
You guys, this is like a Depeche Mode vibe. I got to feel.
It kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It was-
we want
it was
to be
good times.
cool, but we can't really be cool.
Yeah.
Feel in the
Yeah.
80s. Yeah,
They're gonna remember
I
us.
get that vibe. It
was good times.
Yeah.
Fieros were sweet. Flip up headlights.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Those things. If you had those bad boys.
Was a
yeah.
was a white Fiero. It was all right.
Man, yeah. You still see a couple of those around. They don't look
You
too
do?
good.
One
but-
headlight
No, they
up.
don't look good just yet these days.
Just one headlight up.
I had a buddy in college that had a black one just like mine, and his family was a Kenwood dealer, and there was no space in his.
Oh, he had filled it up with speakers.
Oh man,
Oh,
I
wow.
was thinking of Kenwood
preamps and all
trucks.
the stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's deaf now. So,
Yeah.
but you could hear him coming from 5 miles away. It was that loud.
That was the thing back then. When I was growing up, man, you had to have some sort
Oh,
of
yeah.
sound system in your vehicle.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Single cab truck, and looking back on it, I was like, man, what a waste of money that was.
But it was almost a status symbol.
Yeah.
To a degree,
was.
That,
That and the green base light under the seat. Man,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had it going on in Stuttgart.
I remember a buddy of mine got what we call a ground effects, the lights that went under the truck.
Sure.
Thought that
Yeah.
was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, that was a big deal. And then police pulled us over first Friday night out. They're like, those are illegal. They look like police lights. I don't know how much he had spent on that.
That's great.
It's pretty funny. Oh, man. The days of our youth.
Yep.
We made some good decisions back then,
Good
didn't we?
decisions and probably a lot of bad ones.
All right. Well, we weren't here to talk about the 80s and 90s. So
Good
I guess
reflection.
we ought to get back.
Yeah.
Get back.
Who
to
knew
it
we
here.
had topics to discuss? We didn't
Yeah.
think we had
Literally,
anything.
We
so.
started this conversation
FFA jackets. Just
by,
for the whole
by
thing.
saying, well, we don't really have anything fun to talk about today. That's okay. Maybe people will appreciate us getting right down to business.
Yeah.
And then there we go.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
A 10-minute diatribe on the 80s and 90s. All right. So we'll apologize for that. I'll tell you what I would like to talk about,
Tell me.
the current time.
Yeah.
And that is, as we're approaching summer, we're recording this on Thursday, the 27th, I think.
Yeah.
So is it farmer's market time or not?
It will be Saturday.
Saturday.
In parts of the state. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to, usually farmers markets open around the first weekend of May into April. So you're going to see some open this weekend around the state, probably in some of your bigger cities, towns, whatever. But if not, the next few weekends, they'll really ramp up quite a bit. So you've got strawberries that have been coming off and some other little things. But as usual, farmers markets will be very seasonal in what they offer. So, of course, everybody's looking forward to
We're
tomatoes
probably
and
building
watermelons
up to fruit
Yeah.
right now.
Yep. Yep.
Well, why do you know about farmers markets? Why do you know so much about farmers markets?
Well, I've been participating in that realm of agriculture for the last 6 years.
Really?
Between the University of Arkansas, my time there, and here at Farm Bureau.
Yeah.
So working with a lot of producers that either sell at farmers markets or manage farmers markets or have done either.
Yeah.
So, and then also when I do find time to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, I'll go venture into a farmer's market. We've got some nice ones here in Little Rock.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we do.
And if you're Northwest Arkansas, the Bentonville, Fayetteville, Rogers and Springdale farmers markets are huge. The one in Jonesboro is a really big one.
Matthew
Arkansas
mentioned
State.
that one was opening this weekend, I think, or it's next weekend. Thank you.
Yep, Conway's got a really nice one.
I was going to mention Conway. We were out at Flying Sea Ranch, their farm store, 2 weekends ago, and I know they were gearing up for I think Conway opens this weekend.
Yeah.
They were gearing up. So animal protein, it doesn't have to be fruits and veggies, all kinds of stuff there. Do we offer support for those kind of folks?
Yeah,
here
absolutely.
At Farm Bureau?
We've got a specialty crop division here at Farm Bureau, and that's all encompassing for fruits, vegetables, and anything local foods. We do have livestock divisions like beef, now the small ruminant, poultry, swine. But the special crop division kind of seems as if it's also taken on a life of all-encompassing local food. So we also talk about some of those producers that do sell peaches or strawberries also have beef cattle.
Yeah.
And some of them may be selling them locally, maybe going through the new state program or through USDA certified facilities as well. So this year our special crop division meeting, the winter meeting, was the biggest we've had since I've been here.
You guys busted out of the room.
Yeah, we had to knock out a wall.
Yeah.
And not kind of physically, figuratively, whatever, however you want to put it. We
did
both tear it down, but it folded away. But we had really good discussion, so much so that we didn't really have a whole lot of time to talk about Farm Bureau specific issues. So this summer meeting, that's kind of what we're going to focus on specifically.
Nice.
We had so much information to give. I may have put too much on them, honestly, but I thought it's noteworthy to give them information that they can take to their farms and make an impact and help them make decisions on the future.
And I'm sure you can, if you're a member, $40 a year.
Yeah.
Take advantage of all that good stuff.
$40 a year gets you not only access to our state meetings, but also what goes on in your counties and communities. And also within our department, we're putting out more specific economic data and information specific to each one of those commodities and issues that they deal with. Mm-hmm. So you also have access to that as well, and how we are supporting those different commodities and how we're fighting for those issues that you, the farmer, of no matter what commodity you're dealing or working in, that we represent and advocate for on a daily basis here in Farm Bureau.
Well, there you go. So if you're a specialty crop producer, if you're headed to the farmer's market and this weekend or next, and you're listening to this and you think, man, I sure wouldn't mind a group of like-minded folks to get involved with, call John McMahon. He can hook you up and help you out.
Yeah. If you tell them John McMahon sent you, they probably would ask you who.
Turn you away at the front door.
Yeah. Like, man, that guy's.
But tell them you heard it on the Arkansas AgCast.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, share, tell your friends. But this part of the season is pretty exciting for me. I really like the whole culture behind it and the community that is derived from it as well.
And crafts and stuff like that.
Painted,
there's a whole
come back
lot
with
of
some animal balloons.
It's a great opportunity to get out with your kiddos.
You may have a band out there. It's and then food trucks.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
So, and some of those food trucks also acquire product, ingredients from some of those
while they're there. Or okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so go visit a farmer's market either this weekend if it's opening in your area or next. Is there? I mean, I guess you could just check your local sort of information probably around Facebook City, the city Facebook page.
You can also Google the Arkansas Farmers Market Association.
Okay,
and they'll have a list of all the farmers markets that are part of their association. They should have information there when they're going to open and where. Yeah. So, not all farmers markets are the same. They're going to be in a church parking lot or a random gravel parking lot, or they'll be in the square like in Fayetteville or, across the street from the bank.
Here, I think like Whitewater has one in their parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of everywhere. Other information to share before we get into the news, the American Farm Bureau Ag Innovation Challenge is open for application. This program is in partnership with Farm Credit. The program's in its 10th year. Basically, this is a national business competition showcasing startups that are developing solutions for the ag community. $165,000 up for grabs across the whole prize spectrum. I think the largest would be first place, and that's $50,000. But certainly applications are due May 12th. And we would love to have somebody from Arkansas joining this competition. You can get all the information on the American Farm Bureau's website. Philip Powell here in our office is sort of the point person on that, so he can help you apply or get more information if you're interested in that. And I talked to Philip and let him know we were going to mention this on the show again this week, and he certainly was up for helping if you want to reach out to him. And then a little birdie told me that we may be working on some sort of Arkansas specific.
I hope that works out. That'd be really
or
exciting.
Similar competition.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And then the last thing I've got before we dig in is our planning progress report. There's been a lot of talk about this week. And so I'll just sort of say at the beginning, I listen to rural radio on Sirius XM some because it gives you sort of a good feel about what agriculture is experiencing across the state, across the nation, not just here in Arkansas. And it sounds to me like weather patterns remain a concern. Obviously, we're seeing Todd Jacobian says the second wettest start to a year since I believe decades. So obviously, we've got our own challenges here, which we'll talk about as we get into the planning progress report. But across the country, and in some cases, it's rain. In other cases, it's cold temperatures. The Dakotas have got some cold temperatures going on, the upper Midwest. So weather continues to be a challenge for planning progress, and Arkansas is not unique in this sort of slow start that we've seen.
You know, it's sometimes with weather issues up north, that's kind of beneficial to us. So I mean, take it as it is.
I think now also seeing the snow melt and how that impacts the river levels is also something we'll have to keep an eye on. But for now, let's just get to the planning progress report for the state of Arkansas and go from there. We've got 35% of corn planted. Just to give you an idea, we were at 66% this time last year. Of that 35% planted, 23% has emerged. 14% of rice is planted. That continues to trend up. 6% of that is emerged, which is triple what we had last week emerged. 12% of soybeans have been planted. Half of those are emerged. And then cotton is finally on the board with 2% planted. The 5-year average, if you're tracking this week, the 5-year average is 44%. So we're at 2%. Just not a planning progress note, but of note, I guess, on that ag inventory category. Alfalfa hay is rated at 95% fair to good. There's no excellent. No portion of that crop is rated as excellent, and the remaining 5% is rated poor. So our livestock producers having a bit of a challenge, it appears, with hay quality. Early on.
What you mentioned there about 66% this last year in corn, and 44% average at this time in cotton, 5-year average. Can we assume that's weather related?
I think so. I know, what was it, 2 weeks ago when we had a really dry, sort of warm time when we were back up in the 80s and things. I mean, people took off. But I think the biggest delay, if I understand your question correctly, is the weather what's causing this delay, and I think that seems to be the general consensus.
Kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, let's start the news today with an article or some news rather from Christina LaRue. She's the ag reporter for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette about declining aquifers in the state. A quick note. Christina and I chatted earlier this week, and she mentioned that she's listens to the show.
Oh, awesome!
And that it's helpful, sort of keeping her informed about what's going on in the ag industry. And I just want to make a note that is not the reason that we are using this story from Christina. Although,
thank you, Christina.
We're
for listening.
grateful that was already in the plan. So, in case she's listening this week, I just wanted to note that we're thankful for that. But we had already planned to use this story. Christina's reporting cited that the state Department of Ag had issued a report this week that shows that levels of the state's two most important aquifers continue to decline and that the withdrawal rates remain unsustainable. If you've been a long-time listener to this podcast, even before Mac was on, then you know we've reported on this issue.
Those dark days.
Previously. The report issued by the Arkansas Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources Division states that pumping rates continue to exceed the sustainable yield estimates for the Mississippi River Valley alluvial aquifer, which is the most important water source to the state's ag industry. The report notes the same unsustainable use of the Sparta-Memphis aquifer, which is important for drinking and industrial use.
Yep.
According to the article, declining water levels were recorded in areas where water use was the highest, such as parts of the Grand Prairie and Cache River for the alluvial aquifer, and in southern Arkansas for the Sparta aquifer. Chris Colclasure, director of the Natural Resources Division, notes that his team, in partnership with other groups, will continue promoting conservation practices and the combined use of the ground and surface water at rates that are sustainable for current and future generations of Arkansans.
And this has been going on for years. And I've kind of followed this with some projects I did in college and also in grad school, and interviewed some farmers and other people involved in it.
Yeah.
It was a worry then. It's even more so now. But, I mean, they're actually, as you can see, people are actually trying to do something about it now.
Yeah.
There's also initiatives like the White River Irrigation District and the Biometa deal as well. And I don't really know where those are at right now, but the idea is to draw water out of the rivers and pipe it or funnel it down to where the water's needed. Yeah. My biggest concern is once you pull this water completely out of those aquifers, you can't put that water back in.
Sure.
And then once it's dried up, I mean, you can regenerate it now, but once it's done, it's done. And it's a scary thing for communities like on the Grand Prairie. The biggest industry is agriculture, and agriculture supports every other industry in towns like that. Yeah. So if you can't water your crops, then what happens to those?
It's one of the things that makes Arkansas agriculture unique is the ability to irrigate our crops and things like that. And the article did go on to mention, you certainly read it in full on the in the newspaper online. It did mention that since 2011 we had sort of an abundance of rain minus 2012 on the whole, but that withdrawal rate is still unsustainable.
Yeah, and if you notice, if you get closer to like the Mississippi River, their wells are a lot more shallow than ours. You almost step on the ground and water comes out. But over on the Grand Prairie, you've got deep wells. Yeah. And it's just a sign of what's been going on.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on, Structurland Mass Timber Corp., a Canada-based timber manufacturer, has now filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Oh, man.
We reported on this, a few months ago that Structurland had suspended operations at their Conway, Arkansas location, and Walmart had canceled their contract with the company due to production issues. The contract supplied Walmart with cross-laminated timber for a construction of their new corporate campus in Bentonville, Arkansas. And for those of you that don't know what cross-laminated timber is, maybe heard the term before but not really sure, it's basically large pieces of wood glued together to create a real strong structure.
Okay.
Building material like pillars, wall panels, you name it. Just this Monday, Arkansas Business reported that Structurland officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last Friday and has agreed to a $60 million sale to Mercer International, Inc. of Vancouver. Currently, Mercer Mass Timber, one of the Mercer's subsidiaries, has one of the largest production facilities in North America located in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
After Walmart canceled their contract, Structurland laid off 144 of its 168 Conway employees. According to the filed bankruptcy, Structurland listed Walmart as having a $34 million unsecured claim against it. The claim was listed as contingent, unliquidated, and disputed. Walmart's claim is the largest unsecured claim against Structurland, which estimated its liabilities as between $100 million and $500 million. Its assets are estimated to be in the same range. Matthew Carmel, CEO of Structurland, was quoted saying, "I'm delighted and grateful for Mercer's vote of confidence in Structurland and its leadership in the mass timber industry. It's especially rewarding given the difficult period the company has had since suspending its operations in Arkansas mid-January, and it will help in normalizing the plant operation going forward." So, when Structurland came on, we were really, really excited, at least, the forestry industry.
For the forestry industry.
Yeah, the opportunity to sell raw timber has been limited quite a bit with the closure of mills. And and the price has kind of driven down due to that.
Mm-hmm.
Those mills are controlling the price that landowners can receive for their timber. So structured land was going to be another opportunity for them to sell their product.
Mm-hmm.
But this just goes to show you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, even though everything looks great, new and big, and
Yeah.
But it kind of sounds like they may have plans to keep that open in the future. Maybe, according to this quote.
We shall see. We shall see. All right. Well, let's take a quick break from the news to hear a reminder about keeping rural roads safe during this planting season.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
It's so important that we work together to keep each other safe on the roads. You find yourself on the road with a farmer moving hay this year and already seeing row crop implements out there too.
Absolutely.
Let's just all be sure to help one another cultivate safe roads. Now let's get back to the news.
All right, let's do it. Last week we had some news on rice planting projections and U.S. exports. This week, more rice news from here in Arkansas. The U of A Division of Ag has released a high-yielding medium grain rice variety amid increased medium grain demand. The new variety, called CLM05, averaged 192 bushels per acre over 2 years in statewide trials. It outperformed current commercial cultivators CLM04 and Jupiter in grain yield, disease resistance, and lodging resistance, according to a press release from the university.
Cool.
Yeah, the yield is specifically notable because during the 2022 rice season, the state average yield was 164.7 bushels per acre, according to the 2023 Arkansas Rice Quick Facts. Yeah. Medium grain rice typically makes up to 10 to 15% of the state's rice acreage and is primarily used by companies like catalogs and General Mills for snacks and table rice. Mm-hmm. The Division of Agriculture is producing foundation seed of the variety this year, and a limited amount of seed will be available next year, according to the release. Horizon Ag will increase seed production, and it should be widely available in 2025. One reason this is significant is that California currently produces about 75% of the country's medium grain rice crop.
Wow. But
the 2022 crop was the lowest it's been since the late 1950s because of a number of weather and environmental impacts. With this variety, the Mid-South may be looking to take up some of that loss.
It'd be interesting to see medium grain if it does kind of take some of that, let's call it market share of long grain out of the state.
Yeah.
Because that's been the king of rice here in Arkansas forever.
Yeah, no doubt. So it's an interesting development for sure, and interesting that it's a public variety. So
do they use medium grain in the new sake deal out there in Hot Springs?
I don't know really what they use. I've certainly got a person we could call, but but I'm not sure if they do or not. That's a great question.
Yeah. I didn't know either.
We'll have to have a taste test and see.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Tyson Foods employees might be a little worried today, but Tyson Foods is set to eliminate 10% of their corporate jobs and 15% of their senior leadership roles. Yesterday, employees were notified of the layoffs by Chief Executive Donnie King. Mm-hmm. These layoffs are a result of the latest cost-cutting move for the biggest U.S. meat company by sales as it continues to deal with declining profit and struggles to improve results. Mm-hmm. King was quoted saying, "We will drive efficiency by focusing on fewer initiatives with greater intensity and removing duplication of work." Mm. According to regulatory findings, Tyson had about 6,000 U.S. employees working in corporate offices as of October 1st, and 118,000 workers at non-corporate sites such as meat plants and warehouses. Mm. Back in October, Tyson announced that all corporate level jobs were being relocated here to Arkansas and Springdale, which is their headquarters. This in turn pushed some corporate employees to leave the company already before this announcement.
Yeah, I remember that announcement. It was non-optional.
Yeah. Leadership changes have begun to make investors and analysts nervous, at least to say. The company fired Chris Langholtz as president of its international business in August. In September, Tyson said Noel O'Mara, who leads its prepared food division, had also left the company. John R. Tyson, the great-grandson of the company's founder, took over as finance chief. As recently as January, Tyson replaced the president of its poultry business after the company wrongly predicted demand for chicken. So a lot of changes there. Tyson also plans to close two U.S. processing plants with almost 1,700 employees. This is including its Van Buren-based meat packing plant closing next month. This cost-saving strategy could be the lingering effects from the pandemic, when meat packers increased plant worker pay, and now they face declining margins and must increasingly compete to buy livestock to run plants at full capacity. Remember, that was the issue during COVID. Was that, people weren't working, so they weren't able to run those plants at full capacity. But now they were. In the meantime, they've been trying to build that back, and then coupled with also paying those employees at the same time, their inputs have been pretty high. Tyson's adjusted earnings of 85 cents per share in the quarter ended December 1st, and were down 70% from a year earlier. The company is set to report its next quarterly results on May 8th. So tough times with Tyson.
Yep, that is. And, we hope that things look up for those.
Yeah, and the way I was reading it was that a lot of that percentage of people that were that have left or were getting laid off were already those people that had declined moving to Springdale.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Well, good to know. That came from Arkansas business, I believe.
Yeah, and I sourced some other different places.
Well, good to know. All right, that wraps up the news for today. Certainly not the show, I would assume.
It is not. You're not getting off that easy. Today? So, yeah. I think these are harder. So I tried to pick some harder ones this time.
Unnecessary
and random. They're harder and random. They're harder and random.
Good.
Okay. So there's no theme to them at all.
No, not at all.
That's what we
not in the least. One of them I expect you to get.
Okay.
I brought scrap paper.
Expectations
for all
are
questions.
There will be no math.
Oh, good.
So you can rest easy there.
Yeah.
All right. I had to look up a pronunciation real quick, so I want to make sure I get this right. So
we don't bother with that.
No,
we just go with it on the flow.
I don't want to mess you up by me butchering a word.
Sound
or
out
anything.
each letter.
So I'm hopeful I'm getting this right. In which sport are Barani, Rudolph, and Randolph all techniques?
Barani, Rudolph, and what?
Barani, Rudolph, and Randolph.
They're techniques.
They are techniques.
Hockey?
Equestrian.
No.
Tennis.
All right.
Trampolining.
Trampolining. Is that the one you expected us to get?
No.
Can you show us a Randolph and trampolining?
I will. I'll be happy to. So, okay. What was the first movie to be rated PG-13?
I don't know, but I can tell you those ratings from back when we were kids they don't carry over.
I know.
Like they're not the same. I'll see a movie, I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, I remember at the time when it came out, I was excited for it, but I was like, oh man, this is
Can you give us PG-13?
a year? E.T.
Well, it would have been the 80s.
It's before the one I was going to guess.
And there has been a remake of it in recent years.
What's the movie with we get invaded?
Space Invaders?
No, they come through Canada. The Russians. What's that? What's that movie called?
You're right.
You're on the right track.
What is that movie?
You are on the right track.
Red Dawn.
There you go.
I got one.
See, I told you he would get one.
The answer to the question.
That is the answer to the question.
Gosh.
Yeah, I like old movies.
That is the answer to the question.
80s movies.
And that is the one I expected you to get. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at you, man. I didn't know you were such a movie buff.
I do like movies. My wife will walk in the room and say, "What are you watching? It's black and white, you know, or I like 80s movies too."
Well,
yeah.
Then I foresee more movie questions coming up. How about that?
That would be quite entertaining.
All right. Well, that's enough silliness from us this week. See, we found an abundant amount, one might say.
There always is.
Never ceases to stop.
Never. You should not doubt yourself.
I know it. Ain't that the truth? All right. Well, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio versions on iTunes or Spotify. And make sure you subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes.
That's right. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMinn.
We'll see you next week.